Hi, I'm Christine. We're back with Marie SawChuck, who was telling us a really funny story about one of his gigs where he accidentally set the smoke alarm off. And the real positive thing about that, they had to evacuate the showroom, but it was attached to a college, right? And all the college students got out from their exams.
Exactly.
So I'm sure there's students all over the world to this day
Yes.
remember that.
I know.
Double whammy there.
Exactly right.
We were discussing a little bit, and we have more to talk about because I know you've played all over the world.
Mm-hmm.
But one thing that I find really commendable and we're all proud of is that you became an American citizen in 2009, wasn't it?
That's correct. Yeah, February 13th, 2009.
Yay!
Yeah.
Well, from Canada, and of course I was talking with your mom, and
Yeah.
you do have dual citizenship, which is great.
Yeah.
And you didn't even have to learn another language.
No, I did not.
Spoiled.
No, exactly.
So,
Very lucky.
being naturally born an American citizen, did you have to study? Was that a hard thing to do?
You got to study and learn anything. You know, what's interesting about when you're becoming an American citizen, you take it for granted when you're born in the country. You know, so like you live in Canada, you're Canadian, you're born here. You go, okay, I'm here. This is my country. But what amazed me is I was sitting in the courthouse getting sworn in with another 26 or 25 people, whoever was there, and they were from Poland and Iraq and Lebanon and, you know, different countries that this change for them will absolutely change their lives forever. It'll change their family history. It'll change everything. You know, because it's a different country. We have a lot more access to success over here in our own way. For me, it was wonderful because, you know, look, I've been in the States all my life. We drove across the border every weekend, so it wasn't as big a deal. More so the fact that at least I can pay my taxes here and vote. You know, for me, because I figured if I lived here for 15 years, I might as well be able to vote. So, but for them, they're the one in their families changed their lives. Like when my parents, you know, or great grandparents came over from Scotland or came over from Ukraine, you know, that changed life for us going to Canada. You know, especially Ukraine, which is a pretty rough country, especially now again, you know, so it changed my life a lot. So coming here, that was amazing by watching them get emotional, because it was a massive deal for them. For me, I can get to the States or Canada where it's not as big a deal in the sense of distance or change, but it made a really big deal because I saw how it affected them. And that was pretty cool. So so it was very intriguing. It's cool. You know, there's a lot of respect for it.
Right, a difference between privilege and, you know, I guess we're all privileged really to be here, whether we were born and raised here or not.
Yep.
So much going on, you know. Well, I know that the American Idol show that you were on, and
America's Got Talent.
I mean, excuse me, I get them confused.
That's all right.
Thanks for correcting me. America's Got Talent.
Yeah.
That was pretty nerve-wracking. I mean,
Sure was.
It had to have been, because even though you've been on stages, you've set off fire alarms and all that, but you had mentioned once 21 million viewers.
That's right, yeah.
And were you aware of each pair of those eyes?
Not at all, because it's television. You know, there was 380 sitting in there looking at me. I knew it was going broadcast out to everybody. You know, and people don't realize too is when I did the tiger trick or did the train trick, it was amazing because once we finished, don't forget, we broadcasted live to the East Coast. Then there's a 3-hour delay, then it airs in the West Coast. And then, of course, you have your Central Time. So it's airing across the country for 3 hours straight. Actually, a little longer because it goes to Hawaii. So what was interesting is the minute I walked off stage, we finished. We did our interviews, and then you can go back to your hotel. And then what's cool is we can go back to the hotel and watch it live at 9 o'clock. Because we shot at 5, which is, 8, 9 o'clock over in East Coast, 8 o'clock. And then it airs, and then we could get back to our hotel room and see it live here. So we could actually see what we look like, because we obviously don't see it. But what's interesting is because a couple of tricks I did were so large and so different on the show, I got such a big reaction. It was amazing. My phone didn't stop beeping for about 3.5 hours. I would set it down and it was just a ding, 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 because there was Facebook messages, text messages, and I said, this will never happen again. And I showed everybody. My mom was there and my dad, and I said, check this out. I said, this has not stopped ringing. It's messages and it's Facebook. It's just not stopped. And I said, this will never happen again. So just take this in. It's amazing how you can affect literally overnight a nation by this happening. You know what I mean? And I said it's just really a cool experience, which will probably never happen again in that way. But it was a neat moment,
and that is huge. But that was huge that you made a steam engine disappear.
Yeah, it was my dad's engine.
It was your dad's?
Yeah, that was the idea. Yeah, it was. When he started, when he was 18, that was his engine. And it was a replica of his that he worked on when he was 18. So, yeah.
How difficult was that to pull off? I mean, you can't give away your trade secrets by any means, but And
it's
they
hard.
give you the how do you get to practice it? Do you, yeah.
You don't. We were in the parking lot
Oh.
practicing it. I drew it on a piece of paper, and we came up with that trick within 7 days.
Wow.
And we had it manufactured, and we found a train that we could bring in, and we had the trick built. But we were in CBS parking lot every night trying to figure out the exact way to vanish it. Now that I look at it, if I had 2 months or 6 months, I would have changed certain things I would have done. But we only had 6 to 10 days.
That is amazing.
And in front of a live audience and inside a building. It was the first time a train's ever been vanished inside a building. You know what I mean?
Wow.
So,
And
yeah.
what if something had gone wrong? I mean,
Then it
there's
would have
just
been it.
no way out.
It would have been all over YouTube. You know?
Oh.
So there we go. That's the risk of the show. That's why the show is so amazing.
Uh-huh.
You know?
Yeah, so I think with a lot of things, when you make something look so smooth and easy, people really think it's smooth and easy.
Of course, that's the idea.
And that's the whole idea, but there's so much love and work and labor
Sure,
and
it's
heartache.
like watching a
and-
piano player play Mozart. It
Oh.
looks easy, but they've started since they were 3 years old playing it.
Well, I
So by the
tried to
time you're
play
20,
piano. I
yeah.
understand how very
You know,
difficult
it's
it
very
is.
difficult memorizing
Right.
the chords and the
Oh,
rhymes.
not only that, this hand's doing this, they're
That's
doing
right.
that, and you've got the pedals going on. I gave it up, and it was a dream of mine to learn to play the piano, but I know my shortcomings.
Yeah.
So, how would you equate your life prior to being on the show, America's Got Talent? I almost said American
Yeah,
Idol
that's
again.
all right,
I got
everyone does.
myself. Your life was busy up to then. You were used to being on stages and everything, but that must have been like a huge apex in your career. How did you handle? There must have been pressure after that. You got offers to come here to Vegas and other offers.
Well, I was already
and-
living in Vegas at the time, but I had more offers. I had television offers, I had TV offers, and also people saw me in a different light. That wow, he could do big things. He can do a lot of things that are, you know, headliner worthy and TV worthy. And you know, when you have 22 million people watch you, you can't buy that exposure.
Right.
Well, you can if you had a lot of money.
Well-
I know at a Super Bowl game, but you know, that happened overnight. You know, so now I'm standing in the airports and people walk up to me going, "Hey, where's your train?" And I'd laugh, going, "What the hell are they talking about?" And they go, "Oh, that's the train that I vanished." You know, so literally it was instantly, because the way I look, I stand out. So that finally, my look that I was working on for so long had reason now. Because now it actually brought attention, because now people recognize from the show of, you know,
Right.
what I look like. So yeah,
But you had this look prior to that.
I did. Yeah,
Yeah.
I did. But you know, I've always branded myself. But when you have bumps of exposure, it's wonderful. You know, like recently, over the last 12 weeks, we've been doing YouTube videos, you know, and Facebook videos. And on Facebook, over the last 12 weeks, we've had over 19 million views.
Absolutely,
It's changed
yeah.
my whole. It's changed. It's another career changer right now.
Right.
This is in the last 3 months. It's absolutely ridiculous. The exposure I'm getting from that.
Well, you have your own show now, right?
Well, in Vegas, you mean, or on the net?
On the net.
Well, I have my own channel, but I've always had my
Channel.
own channel. But I've got my new internet project where I'm designing videos that are a minute to a minute and a half with my buddy Seth Leach, who's out in LA, and he works with YouTube and Facebook and all these guys,
Right.
and he knows exactly what he's doing. I know what to put on camera, but he knows everything behind the camera.
Absolutely.
And with our team, it's been a huge success the last 3 months.
And how to utilize social media. That's
Oh,
really
definitely.
important.
It's an art form.
It
People
definitely
don't realize
is,
that. You
yeah.
can put something out there and it goes nowhere, and it can be brilliant. But if you're not on the right freeway, you're not getting, you're not getting from here to LA if you're not on the right freeway.
Yeah, absolutely. Who wants stand up and Pahrump?
Exactly. You're right. Exactly.
But well, there are some fun things out there, I
Exactly,
guess. But
for sure.
I'm thinking of the winery, not the cat house.
Yeah, right.
But,
Exactly.
yeah. So you didn't really feel like you changed your personality. You're always so warm and embracing, and that's
Oh,
one thing
thanks.
everybody loves about you.
Thank you. I love life. I love
Yes,
people. You
well,
know?
it shows, and again, that's part of your charm, and on top of all the talent and everything. So, when you were at the Trop, is that where you first put together the show with Lefty and your assistant?
Well, no, I first came there. I basically first came there. I started at the Frontier Hotel in 2002,
Love the Frontier.
and then and that was they had a big union culinary strike, and then I started touring because we did 4 months, and then it wasn't the right fit.
Okay.
And then for 6 years I traveled, and Tropicana offered me a spot. We did 3 years there, and a year at Planet Hollywood.
And was Lefty with you then?
Yes, Lefty was started with me at the Frontier. It was randomly. It was just a joke.
Well, he's
You
part
know,
of the family now.
Yeah, he is.
I mean,
he did his act always, but I said, "Why don't you do my act? Pretend you're a janitor." That's funny. And we just
It is
started-
funny.
We just goofed around, and then all of a sudden now it's
Loved
become a
it.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Wow. Yeah, it's a great show. And we'll be back because we're going to talk about your new venue, how you got there, and all
Sure.
the other fun stuff that's going on in your life.
Wonderful.
I want to give again a shout out to the Red Roof Inn. It's easily accessible from the airport and the Strip. They are pet friendly, which I love because I have a pet and I like to travel. And the they offer free breakfast and Wi-Fi for guests. So stay tuned, come back, and we're going to talk more with Murray SawChuck all about where he is now and what's coming up in his life for the new year. See you in a minute.